Hello, everyone. Oh, crazy week. And it only gets crazier, right? Because Nationals starts for a bunch of countries across the world this weekend. Obviously, US Nats kicks off on Friday. I don't know if any other Nationals is starting on a Friday. I mean, maybe time zone-wise, like other ones start then, but because US Nats is so big, right, it does kick off on Friday all the way through Sunday with a bunch of other countries following suit. I'm super stoked. I mean, I actually feel so overwhelmingly prepared for US Nationals, even though I didn't have like the pure jam session week of testing that I was like, I don't know, back when Nats testing first started, I kind of figured like the last week before it would be nothing but jamming games and like refining things. Honestly, I've barely touched constructed. You know, ever since like last week, Wednesday really was like massive crunch time on the battle-hardened Atlanta, which hopefully you all saw last weekend because it was pretty sick. And I only got back super late on Monday and then had just like a exhausted, lazy day yesterday. And then now we're back just for one day because I leave tomorrow morning for Nats. So it's just crazy. It's just been a crazy whirlwind. I at least knew I was playing Levia from a long time ago, so no last-minute pivoting like other people on the team are doing. Team Runaways, lock your heroes, stop swerving. But yeah, it's been a crazy week. If you all didn't see the battle-hardened coverage, or maybe are a bit confused about it, that's because it was not on Savage Feats nor Mansant. This was on the MinMax Games YouTube channel. So, hopefully you saw it, because, it was, like, the big event going on that weekend. But this was fully produced by me. Savage Feats was hired to basically make the show happen, because this was out in Atlanta already, where, like, MinMax is obviously not based. MinMax is based in Chicago. So to put their whole kit on the road to begin with, just, like, for cards and all that, was one thing. To also handle, like, mobile production was just easier for them to go with me. And, well, I think it went great. I had an amazing weekend working with them and Flake and DM, and even the travel of it all was pretty good. I don't know about lucky. I think I finally just like have the system down, but it turns out you can get media passes when flying to limit the amount of like money you can get charged for checked bags. So, I had it pretty set, like 1 carry-on, 2 checked bags. And that was the whole rig. The whole rig was a carry-on and 2 checked bags to show up in Atlanta and pull off this stream, which was, like I said, just tons and tons of fun. I personally really enjoy like having to revamp the graphics and all that, try to match a new aesthetic. It was, it just means I don't get to fall back on like, what worked last time. Have to revamp it. And MinMax's like minimalist aesthetic is really clean, obviously, so that was kind of the whole idea going forward with this one. I was really happy. Oh, Nicholas, about Blitz, do you feel more confident on defensive Claw Levia or the Hellhammer version? Hey, dude, you're awesome. Thank you, Nicholas. That's a great question. I think the Hellhammer version is fantastic for Blitz and how Blitz works with the obviously half the life thresholds that you're working with in CC. The impact of something like Hellhammer just allowing for more stats on demand. Oh my god, very good, very good. That said,
about Blitz, do you feel more confident on defensive Claw Levia or the Hellhammer version? Hey dude, you're awesome.
Yeah, I get to hear it twice. Well, yeah, so I guess if the question was really confidence-wise, I would still prefer Claw Levia, like the defensive Claw Levia, because I just play it more. The Hellhammer version I played for like one stream and one armory. And sure, I did win the armory, and we did do well with it on stream. But if it's just like the confidence take, then defensive Claw Levia is like a lot more consistent. But there is a Blitz Battle Hardened happening at US Nationals. I would assume it's using the new rules because why wouldn't it? You know, those are now the new Blitz rules. So that'll be kind of spicy. Kind of spicy indeed. Drone is also banned. So I think out of the gate, what I would fear the top players gravitating towards is Pure Fatigue Yoji. Because that deck actually doesn't really need drone to function. It's a pretty consistent deck in like how it handles most matchups, especially if you can like get the sideboarding in, then in theory you like bring in the Oasis against Kano and everything still, and you don't sweat. So Fatigue Yoji tends to beat like the chains, the Vinsets. It's a little weak into like the, you know, swing 2 weapons a turn heroes like Ira, Kasai can be tough, but otherwise like that deck pretty scary. And Levia with like a defensive claw version does fit in the recursion package and should beat it. The Hellhammer version I don't think was really built around recursion if I remember correctly, so I'd still feel a little scared about that because the Hellhammer version, like it steps on the gas for one big turn and then tries to take away options from your opponent by just presenting lethal after that. But the OG deck, I mean, anytime you stumble, they'll just heal then. Like, oh cool, you didn't make me block with my full hand, I'll gain 3. You know, try again. You know, and you're gonna have to do better next turn. Like that's kind of the whole deal with the deck. So I would feel a little scared running the Hellhammer version if I was expecting a lot of tryhards on Fatigue Yoji. Just saying. Just saying. Maybe I'm too paranoid about that, though. But I do think it's a free win if you're playing the Claws Levia deck. You know, those decks that like literally don't do anything just lose to Howl, which is fantastic. Fantastic. Streaming setup, much less stressful than expected. You played the other Levia on stream in... Oh, Prince Odd. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, Prince Odd, look at this. Look, that's Steven right here. Steven's right here on camera. Playing against the Michael Fang in round 5 and then made top 8 at this same event. That's our boy right here. The Levia who could. Right here. This game, by the way, Steven, I hope you went back and watched what happened. Because, oh my god, the lighting, by the way, is just... This venue was so weird. It had overhead... it was like an atrium, right? So, directly overhead the venue, there was a roof. But, like, around all of it, you know, kind of like right above where like the roof would touch like the tops of the like kind of the hotel blocks, right? There were windows. So the sun, whenever it was, you know, was on its rising to set little path there over the atrium, every once in a while would catch on one of these windows and just blast us. The venue would just get slammed by sunlight. So the stream was I mean, you can see like look at that. All of a sudden it's getting hit on this side. You know, give it like an hour or whatever, and then it's being hit from... Where'd it go? Then it's being hit from like this side. So it was very odd to try to juggle the lighting at this venue, but at the end of the day, I think we got it down pat. I was moving the umbrella as much as I could. I was changing the aperture as well, let in different amounts of light. It turned out okay. It did turn out okay, but it was a very odd venue, because especially, check this out, late in the day, look at this. It was like pitch black. It was pitch black. I mean, like, there was just no sun anymore, so there was no lighting. But it's okay. I bring a lot of lights with me. You know, there were 4 lights as part of the mobile rig itself, which is why there was, like, some light here. But the overhead, it was still hard to, like, point enough light at it. But anyway, it was a cool challenge. It was a cool challenge. Really enjoyed the entire stream. And, I mean, DM and Armada, they really were fun to work with. Like, really fun. I was happily surprised with just like how fast the time went by, just because of their banter and just their energy. It definitely, you know, it's hard to go for like a full 12 hours with that energy, so we did fit in like some breaks, But really, they are very capable of like kind of noticing, hey, I need a break real quick. Like I need a coffee or whatever, so that they can be consistent on camera. And they're fantastic, like actual pros. It was very fun to work with them. Very fun. Learned a lot. And they were also very complimentary because I've never seen what the behind the scenes looks like for other streams, but they have. And they gave me some good advice and were very complimentary, which was sick. Here to learn how to not be bad. Are you actually playing Levia for Nats, Mark? Oh my god. I have a deep fear for most people who are like pivoting to Levia for this Nat season in particular. I really, look, you wanna see? I have played over 250 internal games with like the list or whatever, and I gave up. I think it's trash. I really don't think Levia is that good. Not even close to A. She's like middle tier B. She's just okay. But when you play 250 games, all the the low rolls, the feel bad moments of Levia, I mean, they're still there. You want to pretend that Levia is just like fixed? Oh god, no she's not. But the feel bad moments are definitely fewer than they used to be, but they're still there, man. It's like you cannot put this hero in like any kind of high tier because she will just self implode, draw bad hands, just not get to play like a long enough game to do anything. I mean, my god, she's got problems, man. Problems. She's still fun though. She's still fun and I'm still gonna play her. But she did not just get like a super band-aid and make her A tier like a bunch of people who don't play Levia, I think, thought from the get-go. But yeah, after 250 games on this no scab skins list, I've swapped off. And you know why? Because it turns out when you return to scab skins, she's quite good. I mean, I think she's good either way. But you want to see something cool? When the summary list can't even tell you how many turns you lose, what does that tell you about the deck, all right? There's no data. You know why there's no data? 100% win rate, baby. We're back to scab skins. I'm in. I had a long discussion with Yanji. And he said that sometimes, sometimes you just feel it. Sometimes you just get that run. It is your day. And nothing can go wrong. And you know how you unlock that like luck sack like timeline? With scab skins. It's a way higher ceiling than hooves. It just is. To win any event, you gotta get a little lucky. You do. And you know how you can get luckier? Scab skins. I mean, you can play it smart. You can do everything you can correctly outside of it. But if you want that ceiling of just like, god damn, dude, it's my day. It is gonna be a scabs deck. It's gotta be. And, I mean, anyone who's won a big event will tell you, like, there were lucky moments. That is just a factor that has to come up to win an event that is this freaking long, right? So I'm going to do it. I'm going to go back to scabs. It's like a minute difference anyway, trying to build it around hooves versus scab skins. But let me tell you, like, I need that ceiling. I need to just sometimes roll a 6 and just win that game. I need it. It's got to happen for me to actually top Nats. Hooves is fine. To ignore scab skins and just play hooves did function. It did function. We clocked in at a 70% win rate after 250 games. I got first place in the internal Runaways tournament with no scabs Levia. I won the first event. We did another one. I got, I don't know, third or something. I went 3-1 in the next one. So the deck was real against like very good players, but there's just not a high enough ceiling. There just is not. If you can't be Rain Razors, 3 of a kind, Codex of Frailty, if you can't just be that deck, then you might as well be, I hit scabs. Just freaking do it. Just do it. So you all know how I play Scabskins, though, is like mostly with Ghostly Visit. So, yes, I really can't. Once again, got to hold this one close to my chest. I will be playing this version at Nats. Yeah, I'm sold on like the Ghostly Visit being the right way to play Scabs. More than anything. We're not talking like greedy lines still. Greedy lines are still the dumbest thing you can do. That's how you can throw away a game. But just to, in an aggro matchup, just like pull 4 damage. Oh, 4 damage. Oh, 4 damage. Like out of nowhere. Feels very good. Feels very good. So, anyway. This one is still locked up. Good luck trying to snipe the URL. It's on private. You people who tried to do that last time. But I'll go ahead and just share the no scabs list. Because I'm not playing this. I can't do it. I can't do it to myself. It was a fine list. But it's time to sunset you. You did good. You did big whammy. Without no scabby. Vegas is not a bad place to roll dice. This is a great point. This is a great point. I just need to get like one of the what are they called? Like oh, I don't know any Vegas terminology. There's definitely a word for like the girls that follow you around like to like blow on your dice, like groupies or whatever you want to call them. I don't know. They have like a Vegas name. But I just need to get a bunch of them. A bunch of them in every scabs roll. Go on, give me a blow. And then there we go. 6s. Non-stop. Great production from Atlanta last weekend. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So anyway, that was it. We went all over the place. But if you wanted to see Atlanta, it was on MinMax Games. Their channel. Not on mine. But that's because they hired me out to come do this, which was huge. Like, absolutely enjoyed this experience. We've got more coming up. SCGCon Columbus. Canadian Nationals. There's more past that, I do believe, but you know, one thing at a time. Anyway. So what tier do we think Scabs Levia is right now? Well, it's impossible to say. She's either trash or you're having a good day. But she's trash if you roll those ones. That's just the reality. If you roll ones, like, you are punting your entire tournament run over nothing you could control. Over absolutely nothing you could control. But hey, we're just not going to roll ones. We're just going to get lucky. It's my day. I've never, ever been in a position to get lucky. You want to see some of the worst luck ever? Just go to my channel. Scroll down to like even the RTNs I've won. Well, let's find this one. This was a nightmare and a half. Where was it? Oh, so many streams. Oh, this was still in Michigan. Where's RTN season? RTN season. Those are pro quests. Huh. Am I blind? There's definitely an RTN I streamed somewhere back here. And it would have been back when I was already in New York. It was not a skirmish. So it couldn't be here. Alright, I guess I'll just search. I can just search Road to Nats, right? Or like RTN. My god, where is this stream? It's just gone. Oh, wait, this is so tilting. That was a great RTN win. I streamed it and everything, and it's just not there. Oh, wait, oh no, here it is. I think this is it. Okay, we're going way back. Oh my god, look at that. Yeah. You want to see how unlucky I am? I rolled a 1 into a 1 in... Oh my god, the quality was so bad back then. I rolled a 1 into a 1 into this Dromai and went from... Where was it? Oh, yeah. This is where my dice fail me. This has happened multiple times. It also happened where I banished the exact 3 misses on stream into a prism at Nationals 2 years ago. There were exactly 3 misses. There were like 20 hits, and I hit the exact 3 misses and lost the game. I almost lost the game in this position. We had a pretty bad graveyard, and I've got scabs up. So the likelihood on just rolling an extra action point to try to get double banishes in, or at least 1 extra 6 and close the chain, to more reliably turn off Blood Debt that way, was what I was looking for, right? And instead, we roll scabs, and it was a... Here we go. Instead, we roll scabs, and it's a 1. Gamblers into a 1. Yep. No sweat, no sweat. We play through it. We play through it. I mean, my blood debt wasn't going to kill me. If it was actually going to kill me, then like obviously just don't ever. But we went down to like 4 or whatever it was. Almost lost the game. Clawed it back. But man, like, I swear my 1 and 2 1s are the only time. If I'm popping gamblers, it's because I rolled a 1, and it means I'm going to roll into another 1. So seeing the first one is basically, I mean, that's Death Store, like, knocking right there in front of me. Like, it's just, if I rolled a 1, I have to accept that my reroll is a 1, because that's what has happened, like, pretty much every time in my life. It is miserable. But we're just not going to do that at Nats. It's just not going to happen. We're just going to roll hotter. Roll hotter. It's Vegas. It's time to be alive. But anyway, actually, that's not an example of, like, the worst luck, because I did still win that event. But it's still on camera 1 and 2 1. It's happened to many people. If you go back to the, what was it, Calling Birmingham stream, one of our lovely Levia disciples, Pentarch, or however he says it, also rolled a 1 and 2 1, but his was an actual loss then into Bravo. So it comes for us all. It comes for us all. It'll happen no matter what I try to do about it. But we're just going to pretend, right? At least I can't roll 1s in the Levia draft rounds, right? Can't roll 1s in the Levia draft rounds. So we're giving it up. This is the list I was playing for over 250 games in preparation for Nats. And the idea genuinely was into the aggro matches. You run Scabskins and Grasp and just be a tank. And into any other matchup that wasn't aggro, where you can actually play a longer game, you just run Grasp and Hooves. And that was it. I think the one matchup where I was playing Gamblers was maybe Dromai, because they were... You know, honestly, I didn't even have them in the list for a while, but I was running into Prisms for a good bit on ladder. Oh, ladder. It doesn't matter. It's just Talishar. So I did add in Gamblers just because screw those Prisms. Like, come on. And then in the end, did I even ever lose to one? Oh my god, I lost to one. That's probably the game where I was like, okay, I need Gamblers or I can't win. Anyway, 250 games of testing with this list, or normally like a couple card changes around this list. But this is not what I'm going to be playing at Nationals. I revamped the deck again because you got to lean into Scabskins for a higher ceiling, or you are really just playing a deck that is unfortunately not inherently unfair. And you need to be inherently unfair to face the Lexis right now. It is unreal how bad playing a fair game into Lexi is, because they are not a fair deck. They are not a fair deck in any capacity. And if you try to play a fair game, you just lose. You just straight lose. And especially looking at the meta from the last 2 events, Lexi was so much higher represented than I was expecting. I really was hoping that like Icelander and Bravo maybe had taken enough momentum from like their previous wins to show up more in force. And instead, hell no. Instead, we can actually just pull up the meta graphics. Actually, they're easier to pull up on Twitter. Instead, hell no. The battle-hardened Atlanta and PTI Atlanta were completely overrun with Lexi. I mean, if you look at the top 8 alone, right? This is kind of what happens when good players start to lock in good decks, you know, and the experimentation is over because they want to win Nationals. I mean, I'm seeing it happen with Team Runaways as well. Like, just the commitment of good players locking in and, like, you know, putting away pet projects for the best decks. I mean, that's what's going to happen at Nats, right? You'd expect it. And sure enough, in this final, like, premiere event that we see before Nats, Lexi finally comes back and really takes the throne. Well-deserved as well, because she's insanely good. But PTI event was 5 Lexis in top 8. Lexi won the whole thing. The meta for that event as well was 16. Lexi was twice as represented as the next highest, right? Then the Battle-Hardened Atlanta. Battle-Hardened Atlanta itself was 24 Lexis. Once again, almost double the next highest represented deck. And then sure enough, the top 8, 4 Lexis. And then Alexi wins the whole thing. Wait, oops, this is the wrong... Oh no, this is the right one. Lexi wins the whole thing. even in the top 4 itself, 3 of the 4 Lexis advance, and that's because one of the Lexis had to get knocked out anyway because it was a mirror match. This is what's happening, man. This is what's happening. Lexi is too stupidly good, and you can't really like inherently counter her with cards in Levia. Like you can try to run like CNC, you can try to run chains of Mephetis, but the reality is like those don't give you enough percentage points consistently to win the game. Like my god, every time I'm like going on my way to throw a CNC at Lexi, they just 3 of a kind anyway. Like, okay, cool. I took like an actively bad turn for you to just outvalue me from a single card. Like it's unreal. Unreal. And Chains of Mephetis as well slows you down as the Levia player in a situation where you need to be able to draw Blood Rush and just slam it and hope you present lethal first. You have to. So if you're running Chains, then like all of a sudden you're punting your own best card, right? For a 3 of a kind that Lexi can just hold anyway. You know, it's not like you can cheese them and like instant speed out Chains of Mephetis. It's on board. So they just, okay, cool. I just won't block you, keep my hand, and not block down and play 3 of a kind. They don't need 3 of a kind actively to play their turns. It basically gains them life, right? So if you're playing a Chains turn, then that's it. Like they just don't need to block. They'll just throw their hand. What the 3 of a kind gains them is the ability to block down, then play it out, and basically just, you know, gain a Carrion Husk's worth of life. So it's pretty miserable. Like playing into Lexi's nonstop, pretty miserable. It was definitely, out of all the heroes, the only, like, well, okay, you can ignore some of the smaller sample size ones are incomplete here, but out of all the test games into Lexi, it is the worst win rate, and it is a meta-relevant deck, and I wouldn't even count most of these Lexis as being that good. I mean, this sample size is probably like a third from internal testing, and the rest just Talishar, so it's not like the best data still, but 250 games is a lot to start to pull conclusions from. And like I said, about a third of this was from Team Runaways, and I did play in 2 internal tournaments with Team Runaways, and I won one of them and got second or third at the other at 3-1. So there you go. It's just a doomed matchup. It's really rough, and it can get worse with some of the more recent builds where they're running like heavier copies of Winter's Bite. My god, the card is a nightmare because Lexi generates so much card advantage over you that whenever they find like an extra card, and anytime it equates basically to filling like a role in their turn, either being their 3rd arrow or like this extra, you know, Winter's Bite discard or whatever, then any Winter's Bite that they use against you is just not only because they were already tipped into card value, but now negging you in card value. So they're just ramping through all these extra draws with Ponder, with Heatseeker, with the 3 of a kinds, and then hitting you with this free card that costs them nothing to minus your hand with another card. Like, you just cannot match that rate. It's misery. It's absolutely misery. And the only way you can actually, like, beat Lexi is if you make the game short enough that they just didn't get to see their cards. That's the only way. But Levia has inherent problems with that because you cannot just go out of the gate swinging because you need graveyard to some degree. Especially if you do try to just, like, rip it early, like open with an early Blood Rush, slam your opponent, then you are going to be working with a very light graveyard. If you're trying to go from like just your first hand onward, then you're just hoping and praying that your opponent is kind of dumb and keeps attacking into you. Because if even Lexi notices, oh my god, you're at 1 card in graveyard, okay, block. You know, I'll just set up a 6-card hand, block you. That's another lose condition, all of a sudden out of nowhere. So Lexi is like, oh, it's so miserable in wanting to play this deck legitimately. Your only hope is to make it a short game. Make it a short game. Hope that they can't see all their good cards and that you see a couple of yours. But that's a 0 agency matchup, right? You don't get to make those decisions. It's just card draw. It's just card draw. So that's the main reason I'm like a little off of this list, even though it was going so well. The Lexi matchup is just worse. Worse than I want it to be. And the other matchups are fine. But anyway, this is the list we're going to play on stream. This is what would have been if I didn't witness what happened at Battlehard Atlanta and just get absolutely convinced that everyone and their mother is going to be on Lexi at Nationals. But yeah, so I was playing this. This was like the secret list for a while. I don't think it's that interesting. Basically, the premise is you need to be able to get highest value out of both of your playstyles, either flipping Consumed or flipping Redeemed, which of course you're trying to do both in every matchup except basically Icelander. Icelander is the only one where you can't really control the flip anyway, so no harm, no foul. You just assume you're playing without it. But yeah, so to get highest value out of both playstyles, funny enough, is to really jam-pack Dread Screamers. Because when you're playing the more aggressive Consume list, then you really, really need Dread Screamers to end up in your Banish Zone before the flip. Like, you have to end up with Dread Screamers. Doesn't matter if they're red, yellow, blue, you just need Dread Screamers in your Banish Zone because it's the best kind of extender type of card you can pull out of there, right? The smallest value hand is obviously an Endless Maw that ends up there. You can just one card 9. But the reality is with Consumed, like, you need to end the game after the flip. And the best way to end the game is either to go like 3 wide somehow off of like a Blood Rush, or Blood Rush maybe going even 4 wide if you can get the full setup. But Dread Screamer is just the enabler for that. So going to max copies of Dread was really step 1 in that direction. Also, when you're playing the recursion angle, Dread Screamer is fantastic for the Howl and Deeper to Devil loop. You don't care what the kind of like starter card says for your Howl / like Deeper to Devil combo. It can be a non-attack action. It can be the Convulsions. It can be the Howl. It can be the Blue Dread, the Yellow Dread. It doesn't matter, because at the end of how you're playing those turns, the 6 that recycles itself is the Deeper to Devil. So you can just like spam all these, in theory, like bad counts, because they are essentially a Banisher with Go Again. Doesn't matter what they independently do, but you need a Banisher with Go Again to help you loop Deeper to Devil and Howl. So that was like step 1, is just max copies of Dread Screamer. Right, everything built around that should make a lot of sense. Boneyard's still fantastic. Endless Maw still fantastic. To go really high on copies of Dread is to then want to max out the 1-cost angle. The 1-costs with Artivore are also insane with this deck. I mean, with any Levia deck. This is not new at this point. But if you lead with a blue, banish a Slithering, then you are basically playing out a 2-card 12. If you can play, right, if you banish an Artivore, lead with a blue, banish Slithering, and say Go Again, then, and that's your 3-card hand, right? Then you're drawing 2 cards. If one of those cards is a 1-cost, you have now basically spent 2 cards for 12 damage. 2-card 12. Because the second card you draw you don't need for that curve. So you can just Arsenal it, right? Just Arsenal, no big deal. So that's the other part you're really trying to pursue with the heavy 1-cost next to the Dreads anyway, is the heavy 1-cost next to the Slitherings and the Artivores to pull off the 2-card 12. Because that's just such an insane rate. But you do need to get a bit lucky on it because it's random draw sequence after the Slithering. But no matter what, like, banishing the Slithering is incredible value. And it's an early game play as well, which doesn't need Graveyard, which is cute. It's next lines up with the Dread Screamers anyway, right? Swing Big, just always your really good starter in Levia. Your highest rate play that you can do without any Graveyard. It's really good with your Artivores. It's really good on an early Blood Rush. And it's a unique popper into sometimes Prism. Sometimes that matters, you know? Not really, but hey, sometimes. Writhing Beast Hulk was just a really easy way to close the game. You don't really want to play this card, but if you block with it and it ends up in your Banish Zone post-consumed, it's awesome. You know, this is just your on-demand. No longer do you need to hope that you don't mill your Reckless, but you can just know that you push your opponent down to a certain point, they will just die to your Writhing Beast Hulk, which is sick. But you really don't want to play this card. It's more to just block with, ends up post-flip, then it's good. And then in the recursion matchups, it's also really good because being able to pump this thing with like Howl and Unworldly for a tall Dominate, very good. But since you don't actively want to play it, 2 is fine. The other yellows, I mean, Beast Within Blood Rush, way too damn good. Way too good. Especially with all the Gravelings in the list. Beast Within is just fantastic. Because it lets you, in theory, have more opportunities to go for like the Boneyard curve on Blood Rush. You lead blue, Beast Within. If you're hitting a Graveling on that turn, then it's another 3-card 18, which is pretty insane. Pretty insane. The blues at this point are so locked for Levia. I wouldn't change much with the blues. I think, yeah, I don't think ever, honestly. I'm very happy with Levia's blues right now. Barraging Beatdown is like a Turtle Cracker piece. When you go Dread into another attack, if your opponent is trying to block that out. Even if it's a consumed game plan, and your opponent is realizing they can't get over this value, then they're likely to try to block out your Screamer, which comes in, takes 2 cards, then you can Barraging, bounce a card, your next attack now dealt like an extra 5 basically, and if that's not enough to close the game, well, you can go for it again, right? It's also early playable, like, right, it doesn't cost Graveyard, you can just burn it, bounce it from the hand, get the Graveyard going. You can also, if your opponent passes into you with like a large Blood Rush hand out of the blue, if this is one of the blues that you have in hand, because that can normally be a problem if you draw multiple blues, you can just burn it and it's fine. It has a lot of implied value on a Blood Rush turn because now you're incentivizing your opponent to block 2 cards on your claw, which can be pretty nice. And if they don't block it, then like, cool, you just dealt 2 damage on it. Not bad. Convulsions, Unworldly, really important for when you're flipping to the recursion strategy. These are just more copies of like the Dread Screamers, basically. You just need the Banishers that say go again, right? And Convulsions is its own cute Dominate effect. Unworldly is decent as well because you can stack it because it's so cheap on other turns to just clear out a graveyard, which is nice. Deadwood Rumbler, just a blue 6. I don't actually love Deadwood Rumbler, not gonna lie. The amount of non-blocks, this is like the slot where it hurts the most because clumping on like unplayable blues is worse than just saying like, oh, I've got 2 red Slitherings, like sure, I'll look to play one, Arsenal the other, or like you just pitch one for the other if it's early game, like no big deal. But sometimes with the blues, clumping on the blues that don't function well like really sucks. But you do need the blue 6s because of the like synergy with Blood Rush, synergy with Beast Within, synergy with Art of War as well. Not bad, not bad. Doomsday, insanely good card. I really feel like most games now, if you find Doomsday, you do just win. It is really, really strong to have a lot more of power in Levia if you're given room to like control it, and Doomsday gives you that room. You are now summoning Plasmafet and distracting your opponent basically to deal 6 to it and ignore you, which now means a lot more than ever before for how you're trying to play with either setting up a recursion loop or flipping to Consumed with like a proper arsenal. So really good card. Reckless Swing, insane. I mean, this is, if you're not playing Reckless Swing, you are missing something fundamentally about like why this card is so broken. Dealing damage on your opponent's turn is enough of a warrant to like dock Riptide starting life points, Reckless Swing with this ability to no effort on your side end a game is one of the strongest things in Flesh and Blood. It's also inherently unfair. Your opponent is going to like tilt out of their mind if you Reckless Swing them. But the reality is, like, to close a game with Levia still demands either a Convulsions turn, a Writhing turn, a turn that goes too wide for your opponent to block, and all of those just are very specific, right? It's not like you have built-in on board like Akatsu does to easily present like Kadachi, like go again, breakpoint, like, and just kind of dump that hand every turn. Levia has her inconsistencies in that. So when you have the opening to end the game, your hand might not necessarily give it to you. So to be able to just say, okay, I can pivot at this point and just stall into a reckless win is also like another layer of that consistency of now you're waiting for like either the dominate hand because you've got tempo and like room to play it, or the reckless hand, or you don't have room and you can just wait for reckless instead and you don't need to keep cards for it. Reckless is very, very strong. Very, very, very strong. If your opponent sees you pitch it ever, then that's their own mind game that they've got to battle with. Oh my god, how many copies are they running? Where is it? You just cannot effectively win every game with Levia without Reckless Swing. Reckless Swing won't give you every game, but it's also giving untold value because your opponent is scared of it. And there will be games where you do just win off of the back of it as well. Very, very good card. Very, very good card. I was trying it at 1 because it is true, like clumping this thing is miserable. But the reality with 1 is you lose part of what it's there for in this like no effort win con. If you pitch it away, then you just know that it's not possible to have that out. So it just wasn't doing enough at 1. And then you could also mill it with Consumed, which sucked. So it is still 2 right now. And it's fine. I mean, the card is very, very good. Very good. Sideboard wise, this is really to flip between an Icelander plan, a Lexi plan, and then like a recursion game plan, because those are the 3 ways that your deck is pulled to play a little bit differently. Right into Lexi, you need some kind of like interaction point, or they just run you over. So the idea there, I mean, nothing new. Command and Conquer is like all you can hope and pray to do to slow them down. There are sequences where Command and Conquer is really strong, but most of the time it's nothing you do. It's just, did the Lexi draw 3 of a kind or not, to kind of get out of this punish. But if you can open the early game with CNC, that's fine. If you can flip, like really the biggest way to use like CNC for that matchup, like the most impactful way, is if you can present CNC and then flip into consumed. That is really strong. If they have 3 of a kind, then like screw it, like you're not going to win. But if they don't have 3 of a kind, that is how you win, is you present CNC and then you flip. And that is such a big deal. And into the Lexi matchup, it's kind of interesting because they present so much damage that if you find an early CNC and you don't really need to play it, you might as well just arsenal it, because you're going to be under threat of flipping probably within like 3 turns. Like it's a very fast matchup. So you want then the CNC to be your flip play. So you can arsenal CNC and just use it for that, even if you find it early game, which is really, really nice. Because previously, like if you're running CNC, then you didn't have a lot of windows to use it outside of like an Art of War turn later in the game, because you needed to also turn off Blood Debt. So into Lexi specifically, being able to use this on the flip turn it's like your best use case. It's your best use case. The ceiling is you go first and they load, and then you snipe them with a CNC that they can't block. That's definitely like the ceiling of CNC. Thank God. You can still cheese them on that. But the actual like the use case you want to pursue and the actual play line that has the most impact in testing is flip with CNC. It's very good. It's very good. If you flip into Lexi and do nothing, you are losing that game. There's nothing you can do. 13 life into a Lexi is dead. So if you are presenting nothing into the Lexi and flipping, that does not save you at all. Like at all. The best thing you can do if that's what's happening is have 2 endless maws. If you are flipping with nothing in hand, or rather with no play and then flipping to consumed, the best thing you can hope for is that you have 2 endless maws banished. But once again, this is a short game, so the likelihood of that is also pretty low. But if you can do that with like 2 endless maws, then maybe you can get away with not presenting anything on the flip turn, because that lets you still block down 9, return endless, and doing that twice is what's important, because you figure that you and your opponent are at pretty similar life when the flip happens. So if you only throw like that one good turn of blocking 9 into endless maw for 9, they do still ignore that turn, right? They're probably at around like 15 life. So if your first attack back into them when they're at 15-ish is that endless maw, they're just going to ignore it. Why would they care? Why would they care? You need to be able to do that 2 turns in a row, realistically, to make them care, and then you can fight back a little bit. So that's what you need, right? Already the Lexi matchup, from everything I'm telling you about it, it's already a lot of ifs, ands, or buts. Not going to lie. But it is possible to win. It is possible to win. Just things need to line up. But holy crap, the card advantage that deck has is a freaking nightmare. Absolute nightmare to deal with. Anyway, that's what the CNCs were for. For the recursion package, triple red unworldly, the Howl, Deeper Evil, and Shadow is where that package comes in. Insanely strong. There are so many decks right now. Well, I guess it's not so many decks. It's like the Bravo matchup. Also, you play this way into Dromai. You can bring in recursion into Icelander as well. Anything that's fatiguey, right? Then the recursion package just does so much to combat. Because the general idea of like the fatigue list right now is that they're not like the heaviest on disruption. It's not Oldhim, where it's a fatigue list that out of nowhere is just gonna like 2-card Endless Winter U, and then like your Blood Rush Bellows turn like can't function, or CNC pummel you as well and protect their life otherwise, Stalagmite you, Ice React you. They're not like that disruptive in terms of like letting you execute your game plan, as long as you're blocking with armor and cards at the proper moments, like into a Bravo. So the recursion package just gets to walk over a lot of matchups right now, and is so freaking good. And like I mentioned, the loop that you're really pursuing is the Howl and Deep-Rooted playstyle. It's not the double Howl with the 2-cost banishers, because this list doesn't even have any Hungerings, only 2 Writhing Beast Hulks. So the double Howl is just not what actually functions in this list. If you're using the singular howl on any of your attacks, then the only ones that where it really works, like on curve, is Boneyard Marauder or like Endless Maw even for like a 3-card 12. Otherwise, the loop you're pursuing is with Deep-Rooted Evil. And if you don't know what that looks like, I did make a graphic recently that I can pull up here. I made these to show to Jamie Faulkner because he said on Twitter that Levia was the worst deck in the game because she loses to Solitaire, which like could not be further from the truth. If you actually are prepared for a Solitaire game plan, then these are just free wins. Then they're just free wins. If your opponent thinks that they can just block you out, you will literally fatigue them. They will run out of cards before you take Blood Debt. Especially now with Levia Redeemed, because if you drew like that one hand of like, holy crap, I pitched this, Wrecker, Reckless, Doomsday or something, like something awful, then you can just save it with Redeemed and no problem. But the concentration of your blues that actually enable the recursion game plan is so high that it's like very hard to lose to yourself. Anyway, Jamie Faulkner on Twitter, like I said, straight up said Levia loses to Solitaire, so I made these graphics with the intent to show him that that's just not true, but I didn't share them. It felt a little too shit stirry to like go out of my way for that, but they're on the League of Levia. So basically the Deep-Rooted Evil and Howl loop, the three ways that this can function, right, is with your graveyard at 2, which will look something like, it's either like 2 or 3 realistically, because it's either like the Unworldly, the Deep-Rooted, can start it, or it can be the Unworldly, Deep-Rooted, and the Howl from Beyond from like the previous turn. That can also be there. But no matter what, you then kickstart either to the 3rd card by playing the Howl up front, or the Howl's already there. But you play your Banisher to clear your graveyard since it's at 3, and then you can drop the Howl and the Deep-Rooted Evil off the back of that. Your graveyard will then look like the exact same 3, because it'll be the Banisher, the Deep-Rooted Evil, and the Howl, right? So this graphic's actually a tiny bit wrong. The Howl should be over here. But your graveyard will be left at 3 every time you do this. Every time you do this. And then all you need is another Banisher to just do it again. And just keep going. And that's it. Then you've got the double Howl one, which is not in this list, really. Oh, wait, here. Oh, okay. Actually, okay, so this is the 2 ways I was demonstrating it. Okay. Yeah. So we saved the graphic. Anyway, same deal. You've got your Deep-Rooted Evil, your Howl, and your Banisher in the graveyard. You play your next Banisher, you replay those, your graveyard's full again, you've got the 6. So you can just keep doing that for as long as you've got the Go Again Banishers. You can even force it once per game in those matchups like with Hooves, right? So the recursion package is just very, very, very strong. And into any matchup where your opponent needs to block down because they can't outvalue you by the numbers alone, like Dromai, like Bravo, then, why not run that package? It's very good. I don't go up to 63. I cut the yellow Gravelings. Someone asked in chat. I cut the yellow Gravelings because in theory, if you're ever just playing a Dread into Deep-Rooted turn, then, that is the same damage as the yellow Graveling. So, actually, I think into Dromai specifically, I just don't add the Unworldly Bellows red and just leave in the extra popper. But yeah, I'd never go above 60 with Levia. You don't need it. You're diluting your power cards. And then into Icelander, the Energy Potion, I tried a lot of cards into Icelander, and generally I think that matchup is pretty good. Most of the Icelander games, 34... Actually, you can see this. The Runaways internal test team, we did like a jam session. We played something like 15 games of Icelander back-to-back, and I only lost like maybe 2 in that jam session. And this is against Team Runaways, mind you. Like, one of the strongest teams out there, with Dan Rakowski, Yanji, Cody Williams, Lucas Oswald, list goes on, Sean Yang. We did like a jam session of something like 15 Icelander games, and I lost like 2 of them. And one of them was like, kind of a weird, unlucky Levia game. The other one, probably just like a fair loss. But generally, the Icelander matchup is pretty favored for smart Levia play, I would say. It's unless they're running like Channel the Bleak Expanse, it's very hard for them to just like blow you out if you're not expecting what their arsenal could be, right? Like if you're planning on, okay, like generally I need to be able to pay into 1 Frostbite this turn, okay, worst case, it's a CLF. I need to be able to pay into that if I'm looking for a push turn, whatever it is. Generally, you make those cognizant decisions then into playing around, like, you know, the one Frostbite or the CLF and still make your turn. The only thing that can actually, like, blow you out is channel the Bleak Expanse, but not every Icelander is running that, and supposedly, like, they're not supposed to be. I don't know, not an Icelander player, but it seems like that is not looked at as a relevant card too much right now. Tell you what, into Levia, it's pretty damn sad, because there's just nothing you can do about it. You play your Artivore, okay, they Bleak Expanse. You play your Blood Rush, they Bleak Expanse. You can't really do anything. Like literally nothing, right? Like, just your turn's over, you take Blood Debt, like it's, well, if it's the Blood Rush, there's nothing you can do. So that card's like pretty unfortunate. But other than that, the Icelander matchup is like a pretty real game. You get to actually make a lot of choices back and forth, and you generally just output more damage than they're comfortable dealing with, because Icelander doesn't want to just, you know, block 3, set up Arsenal, block 3, set up Arsenal. They need to develop permanence. They need to develop Insidious Chill, for one. They need to keep their Aether Icewind hands to pull off Insidious Chill. And you've actually got decent play around, like, when they do go for those lines. You know, they're taking damage to, like, make those plays. And then you can Beast Within and play around it sometimes. You can also, I mean, you're pretty blue heavy. So sometimes you don't even hate, like, okay, they've got a double Insidious Chill Aether turn. Okay, that cost me 2 cards. Cost me 2 blues. And I've still got my Arsenal and 2 cards in hand. And, like, you just play through it, and they ate all that damage to play for it. So it's definitely, like, a matchup you need a lot of reps in to navigate properly. But as you can see, this was, like, the most grinded matchup. And I think I got it to a point where I'm very happy with. There are going to be some games, I mean, 34-15, and that's a lot of losses, but it's also a lot of wins, right? There are going to be some games where the Icelander just ices you out, haha, and there's nothing you can do about it. But generally, you have a lot of agency to win those games, and I enjoy the matchup. I think it's pretty skill-intensive, and Spoiled Skull is an absolute MVP. The Spoiled Skull and Hooves of the Shadow Beast are so incredibly important to find a window for in that matchup. They're single-handedly, like, the tipping points to make these mostly wins. A lot of the losses into Icelander, it's because you didn't go for a Spoiled Skull or, like, Hooves window when it was available and, like, couldn't be disrupted. But if you do play for, like, the Hooves and Spoiled Skull, those take a lot of momentum away from the Icelander and really end up being massive. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy with, like, the Icelander game plan. What I ended up with, though, for the, like, tech cards for it specifically, the Energy Potion was this pretty interesting middle ground of, like, an extra blue, for one, early game playable, and then also, like, help into the disruption, right? I tried a lot of other things. I tried Blue Diabolic for a while, and I thought maybe as a sideboard card it made sense, because into Icelander, if you're going to make plays like where you are trying to hold an extra blue, Diabolic is interesting because you can, if it's a wide turn, because in theory you're holding a wider set of hands, you've got, like, these Dread Screamers, right? Then the Diabolic is more modal because you can use it as the attack, you can use it as extra pitch, or you can end up arsenaling it if your turn is, like, a bit too stumped by disruption, and it will still be live as an attack. So I thought Diabolic was actually pretty good into Icelander because of its modality, right? Like, you can use it in multiple ways. But at the end of the day, the highest impact card, highest impact by a large margin, was just Energy Potion. It also helps you when you are making a Dread Screamer play and your opponent gives you 1 Frostbite. You can no longer play, like, your Graveling Growl turn because you've been stumped by a singular Frostbite, but you can drop E-Pot. You can go Dread Screamer into E-Pot, and then you've bought yourself protection for, like, future rounds, right? And if you open with an Energy Pot, it's incredible. You know, it pays through a Blizzard, because Blizzard can be, like, the tipping point you can't always plan around. You know, if you're settled in to, like, pushing through a singular Frostbite or the CLF, if that also comboed with a Blizzard, then holy crap, like, you probably do just lose that turn cycle in terms of damage. Just in damage, you won't lose the game, but an Energy Potion there can be really massive. Also, the fact that it's an instant, when your opponent tries to respond with CLF, Channel Lake Frigid, you can crack E-Pot on top of it, which is really quite nice. So it protects you in a lot of fronts. I'm really happy with the Energy Potion, I think. And like I said, after all the testing, I did settle on this. I was also trying like the pulpings again, and the reality is like adding the pulping and wild ride just opens up your deck to more instability, and into Icelander you just cannot be an unstable deck. You need to be like executing a singular game plan. You need to be able to play around what your opponent's doing. You need to be able to turn off Blood Debt, and adding in the pulping and wild rides, they were good for like literally 1 to 2 turns, and then the worst cards in your deck. And then just the worst cards in your deck. So I just don't think you really need them. The Epot was a lot stronger into the Icelander. Yeah, you can see I'm not running like any chess piece if it is Arcane Icelander. I mean, there is going to be Arcane Icelander, but I think you just take the hedge that generally, just hope it's Bullander, because then Husk gets a lot of value. Husk gets so much more value if you are like coin flipping that it is Bullander than taking Tunic and then it is Bullander. That's actually a huge difference. Huge difference. So anyway, that was the list. I'll unprivate this list because like I said, I'm not going to play this. I'll just make it public. Screw it. And then we'll rename it. All right, go find it. And then here, I'll even I can link my own YouTube video. I learned how to do this now. I'm not playing this list for Nats, but I was really close. There it is. Boom. Here you go, everyone. Go ruin my results. Go ruin it. Go destroy, tank my beautiful, well-crafted 70% win rate across 250 games that I personally played. Go tank it, people. Go out there in the world. Ruin all my hard work and dedication. Or climb it. Or keep it stable. I mean, in reality, you figure you play this well, then it should stay stable at 70%. That's kind of like the idea of playing all these games, is that this win rate should be pretty stable. It didn't really fluctuate. Most days looked pretty similar. Most days were... Okay, this was a bad day, apparently. What the hell's going on here? Can I go back to it? Oh, anyway. Anyway, time to tank it, says Josh. Oh, Josh, you will tank it on purpose. You absolutely will. No Levia for Nats? No, I am going to play Levia for Nats. I'm not going to play this Levia list, though. Like I was mentioning, I really think there's a ceiling to Levia that cannot be reached with, like, mostly a Hooves game plan. Are the matchups fixed? I guess I should fix the matchups. They're probably close to right, but maybe a card is missing or something. So let's double check just for everyone. This is not a real matchup. What else matters? You can infer most of this. Icelander is missing. This goes in. This goes in. This goes in. There we go. Yep, this one looks fine. Prism. That freaking prisms I was running into. Okay, that's good enough. That's good enough. But yeah, I'm not going to play this list into the Nats field. It's going to be too Lexi heavy. And Lexi is miserable. I wouldn't even consider most of these wins like real wins, because like when I was playing against like actual capable pilots on Lexi, like internal testing with Team Runaways, like they're hard losses. It's like if I get a win, it's because not only did I get insanely lucky, but they also had to get insanely unlucky. It's like the only way it lines up. These wins probably came from like randos out there on Talishar, which they don't really count for much beyond like maybe the first 2 rounds at Nationals, right? That's like where the generic Talishar data is relevant. Your first 2 rounds of Nats. That's it. But yeah, this isn't all Talishar data. Like I said, it's maybe like a third of it is internal testing with Runaways. And then the other, what's the math on that? Like, yeah, a third. Let's just say a third. A third was internal games, and the other 2/3 are random Talishar games. The biggest blocks of testing internally were into Icelander, Bravo, Dromai, and Lexi. I mean, as you can see, that's where, we were really focusing, like testing the Levia list against, is like the expected top dogs, which were those 4. So those columns are definitely like heavier slanted towards internal testing, whereas like the rest tends to be pretty random. But yeah, even then, you can see the Lexi matchup is really, really rough. So I can't play this list. I can't do it. I can't just sack Lexi like that. I've got to try to do just a little bit better. Do just a little bit better for myself than, than just sacking Lexi. So I do have my personal build, and you cannot snipe the URL. It's on private. But my personal build for Nats, I think, is truly a back to Scabskins list. For everyone who's now joining in, we went over this in the beginning, but I did do like some internal like gauntlet run on the Scabskin list to see, you know, is it just better? And let me tell you, 13 games is not like the highest sample size to pull from, but the idea was going to be, you know, let's replicate like a top 8 run, right? I need 8 rounds of Swiss, then 3 rounds of top cut. And like, what would that look like with this deck? What would that look like? Well, I went undefeated, and I even added in some extra games because I was like, whoa, this is crazy. So, damn it, I'm locking it. It's not that heavy a swerve. It's more so like an equipment and a mindset swerve. There's like maybe 12 cards different. Something like that. But hey, man, if you wanna have the run, you gotta let yourself open to that ceiling of possibilities. And Scabskins is that ceiling. So this is the list that I will unveil after Nats. And we'll see if I can keep up the 100% win rate. We'll see. I'm telling you right now, it's not completely up to me. It's up to the Scabskins gods. But in the meantime, if you all want to play a good Levia list, and we'll get some games with it on stream right now, I really, really thought this was going to be it. I was pretty convinced that I would lock this build because it did everything I wanted to other than beat Lexi. And Lexi is beatable, but not close enough. So let's take it to Talishar. And play a couple games. Let me make sure I'm logged in. Yes, I am. Alright, if anyone wants to play as well, feel free to join. Nats testing. Alright, just so people know, it's serious. This is the most serious of Talishar games. Oy, oy, oy. Is your list really different than this one? Yes. I mean, what else would I be talking about if I'm not going to lie to you. It's not... There are real differences between my last minute pivot and the no Scabskins list. All right, into Dromai though, you do run gamblers. Into Dromai, this is the one where you actually do play gamblers. Okay, so actually this sideboard might not be completely up to date. I'm running the Howl, not the Deep Rooted or Shadow. Actually, this looks pretty okay. 1 Howl is normally enough on this one. These are just extra poppers. I don't mind bringing these in, though. All right, we'll try it as is. I don't think this is the final sideboard plan I locked on, but let's run it. I'm in. Oh, yeah. We love starting this way. Time to pitch 2 power cards to the bottom and never see them again. That's not true. Into Dromai, we should realistically see the whole deck. Changed your budget Arachne list after I played it. Got a lot of groans at the armory, but you don't play meta decks, so why not? Went 2-2. Hey, there you go. Alright, so funny enough, there aren't a lot of hit effects into Dromai, and if they do pull an early Tumultai, then it's normally awkward to have gotten block value with Scabs. So I'm going to buff, banish, and we're going to draw an attack, right? So that way I can block 4 in Scabs. Yeah, there we go. Alright, I'll take it. This is really only because I know that Rice plays Tumultai, And every time we've played before, the scab skins like never get block value. So screw it. It's like a turn 0 use, but I don't super mind because they are likely going to get Tumultide as soon as it is seen anyway. Okay, this is fine. So I'll easily take a bad turn here just to make sure that the Howl from Beyond is ready. I like that. I can also afford to roll scabs for double claw. It's no big deal. Because I don't really care about throwing 3 either. Holding the blue is fine. Alright, that's first scabs roll out of the way. We did it. The 1 is done. The 1 is done. But who are we kidding? It's going to be a 1 next hand as well. Easy peasy. Ooh, look at the alt art CNCs. I actually think I have those enabled as well. I don't know how you enable them, but I should. Okay, yeah. So I should have them. Nice. Into this C and C. I mean, I don't really mind just using my turn to claw Kyloria more than anything. I kind of want to block with the Writhing, just to make sure the graveyard has more 6s. So I think I'm pretty okay doing this. We'll just hold the blue for the Blood Rush hand next turn. Seems okay. We'll find the go hand soon enough. We just need to start clearing it out with Banishers because the Howl from Beyond is going to get a ton of value into Dromai realistically. Because most of the time, Dromai puts you on 3-card hands because you're blocking down with 1. And the most consistent way to use 3-card hands is to pay into Howl. It's not going to be a beautiful curve for the most part on a 3-card play. But just the flexibility of always having it is quite nice. Quite nice. Oh, baby. Oh, this is unique. This is very unique. Interesting. Well, I can go ahead and pop it and just make my turn Dread Screamer Graveling for a 3-card 10, which I don't hate. Pretty good chances that it'll hit because it'll be 3 misses in the graveyard. If I pop here, then it, stumps my Blood Rush turn. If I block with card plus here, then I'm working on a 3-card Beast Within play, which is like, okay. It is okay. The one risk of a really early Beast Within... Oh, actually, the Beast Within play might be right, because we pitched a Blood Rush early. One of the things you don't want to do against Dromai is mill a Blood Rush, but we did pitch one, so to just Beast Within this early in the first cycle is probably pretty safe. Because we know 1 Blood Rush is at the bottom. I don't hate this then. I don't hate this. Just block Dread, or rather block Convulsions, Graveling. Keep this 3-card hand, or just make it a 3-card 12, give up Beast... I'm going to save the Blood Rush play. Yeah, for a different setup. I want to save the Blood Rush hand, I think, for when I can keep 3 cards like this. Just since this hand works on curve. Anyway, okay, they're going for a long game. Ghostly Remembrance. We've got the Howl looping, decent, although this still leaves us at 3 misses exactly. When am I flying out? Early on Thursday. So, holy crap, today's Wednesday, Nathan! Today's Wednesday, my guy. Holy moly. Wow, I actually have so much to do. I need to mow the lawn. I need to cook dinner. I need to pack. I need to build a blitz deck for the Battle Hardened. I need to get my camera gear ready because I'm trying to do a behind the scenes for Runaways. Oh, wait, there's actually a lot to do. Oh my god. I don't know how long I can stream then. I don't know how long. You just landed in Vegas? Ugh, jealous. I wish I flew out today, not gonna lie. I just wasn't sure I could afford so many days in Vegas. But in the end, if Emery, if your crew had been staying on Wednesday, screw it, I probably would have flown in. I'm staying with Emery in the chat right now. Very, very great hotel deal. Looking forward to it. Ooh, no popper hand. But this is a Shadowpede hand that is likely live with a Blood Rush. Okay, okay. I don't think we'll take this. Okay. So we basically let 5 damage through, but it was at the cost of 1 card. Not a big deal. Okay, go again. Second Art of War, super awkward. Super awkward. But honestly, we should probably push for it. That is all 3 Art of Wars gone if I do that, though. But, like, what else am I doing with that Art of War? Basically, it would just be paying for Howl here. Yeah, it'd be pay for Howl. And then, I guess Slithering Deadwood, that's it. It's not bad. I mean, we're looking at a 4-card 15, and it saves the Art of War. I think I'm more inclined to do that. More inclined to do that. Yes, yes. Yeah, I just don't want to burn all the Art of Wars this early. Art of War normally comes in pretty clutch. This could even rebanish the Howl from Beyond in theory. Depending. Alright, it did discard. Okay, that's actually a great discard. I really appreciate that. So we can go ahead and get our Howl re-looping here, which is nice. Also helps the graveyard because there are now 4 misses once we hit the Howl back. Not bad. Can you find the list? It's public now. And yeah, here. This was the Nats list until Lexi became the hottest deck on the block. This was the list. Now go out there, tank the win rate. I give you my blessing. You should be able to recycle $100 in the different casinos and get free food and drink. Sign up for the Players Club, turn money into credit, hang out for a bit, then cash in your credit. I mean, that's Blood Rush. That's what I would have enjoyed getting there a day early to kind of like learn the ropes of Vegas. Because last time I went to Vegas was like with my dad when I was like, I don't know, 14. And we went to the medieval show in the bottom of the Castle Hotel, which I forget what that's called. But that was like the whole point of the trip. We went on like a helicopter tour. We did the like the underground medieval like jousting show, which was really cool. But that was it. It was not more than that. I didn't get the full experience of Vegas as an adult. And I don't think I've been back since. Excalibur. Thank you, Brad. Yes. Excalibur. All right, so now this is the kind of Blood Rush hand I wanted to keep. It's actually kind of beautiful because clearing Miragais with claws is well worth it. Oh, nice. Didn't even lose a Dread. All right, so we're sinking 1 Blood Rush to clear double Miragai. Pretty good considering that in this matchup, Miragai is one of their strongest cards, and we are using 1 of our power cards to clear 2 of theirs. Granted, Remembrance is in the list, but they did pitch it, so maybe we get away with not worrying about that for a while. Choice here is either throw the Howl for the Boneyard play right now, puts us off Arsenal, or just play out the Boneyard and keep a double Dread hand. Double Dread hand's interesting. Pitching them both to the bottom is also not awful, considering we know that they'd be next to a Doomsday. But nah, it's not worth all the red pitch in. We'll just do the Boneyard, which does turn off Blood Debt. Nice. We didn't really care if it missed on Blood Debt, right? There's no condition on the Boneyard, and the Blood Debt was only at 2. Still, though, we like those kind of banishes, because now it's exactly 3 misses. So unlikely that our Dreads will miss on the next turn. Have fun. Vegas is a good time. Play Pygal for 2 hours and get free drinks the whole time. That sounds fantastic, but I don't even know what that is. Pygal. My mission in Vegas is to hit up some celebrity restaurants. Like, I know it's probably stupid amounts of money, but you know what? I'm pretty used to eating like 1 meal a day. I think I can get away with it. Pai Gao. Oh. Oh, someone's at the front door. Sorry. Let me invite to chat. Okay. It was the electrician. Or something. They're measuring the electricity and gas use, which I promise is probably a lot. Probably a lot. Oh, okay. I've never had to stream when someone else is in the house. I probably sound like an insane person to this guy. Oh, you know what? That's actually a misboard. I normally take out a second Reckless against Dromai and put in the third popper. Let me fix that in the list real quick. That's what I've been doing that I forgot to do. It is -1 Reckless, +1 popper. There we go. Update. Okay, what was this turn? It was just drop Uvia, pitching the Chromais. Okay. I mean, my turn plays pretty well into just Dread Endless if I want to do it that way. It's a lot of Graveyard Banish, but I have the Howl, so I don't super mind it. I don't super mind it. Other option is pop with Dread and just go for the Endless Howl play. That's normally the weakest line in a situation like this. Dread Screamer is so much more impactful as the go again. I think we'll just take this and go Dread Endless. We don't really care about Uvia. The Ashwings, if they pile up, it still only demands like 1 card from me. Alright, just don't miss. Nice. Okay, okay. Okay. Dread is still parked there. We haven't seen like the red Gravelings yet, so the other line of like play Dread into Claw, like it's not really better. I want the Dread there still because it is more potential with the pieces of my deck I just haven't drawn yet. So even though we're floating a resource, still 15 damage hand. Don't hate it. Don't hate it. Uvia is the best dragon that Dromai wants against Levia? Nah. Uvia doesn't matter. Uvia does not matter. Like, generally, the game only gets tight if a, like, if, like, I can't really pop a board with heavier numbers. So, like, a Kyloria board that can catapult, a Chromai board that can catapult, those are a lot stronger than, like, an Uvia in this matchup, generally, from the Levia side. I think the other Reckless was the last pitch as well. Alright, there's our Graveling hand. Though no popper, we can still make this then just Dread into Deadwood and just give up the popper here. Should be okay. But also with these scab skins, we could just instead make it a scabs line. It's not bad either. Yeah, Howl into Dread into Claw alone is also not awful. It would be Claw on the Asvali and then set up a barraging in Arsenal, which either gets played on like a Turtle Crack turn or just gets crowned away, generally. I don't hate that either. Sure. Now, there will be exactly... Oh, not even exactly 3, because of the last turn banish. Nice. Two barraging go again into Claw? Huh? Two barraging go again into Claw? No, there's no point in burning barragings like that. Barragings have guaranteed value in a matchup where they have to block you out. So to just burn them to force a block like that is less relevant than making it deal like true damage later. Oh my god, that is so different. Wow. Very different look. The border being different as well throws me off. Oh. Alright. Obviously this hand does not turn off Blood Debt. Bit of a problem, but this is what Crown is for. Crown's there to dig. This is the problem with running the CNCs over the Unworldlies, realistically. Like in this slot. Normally it would be an Unworldly. So the Unworldly would be what turns off Blood Debt like more consistently in that hand. Okay, still no way to turn off Blood Debt. That's fine, we can take 9. Not the biggest deal. We can take the 9. Yeah, we want to throw the swing big back instead. Shadowpede in Arsenal. Actually, probably should have popped with the Beast Within, because we're drawing a new one. But guaranteed on the Shadowpede in Arsenal is fine as well. It's okay. Yikes at this hand? No, it's not a big deal. Into Dromai, you can be greedier with like cutting ways to turn off Blood Debt, because they don't really deal you damage unless you let them deal damage. So having the extra popper over the way to turn off Blood Debt is not really going to harm the matchup. Or like we can take 9. Doesn't really matter. Doesn't even put Husk under threat. Obviously don't want to do it like twice per game. But considering they're at like 16, we've only played 1 Blood Rush. We have a Blood Rush in the pitch stack, another Art of War in the pitch stack. It's all fine. Into Arsenal, yes. There we go. Oh, there goes our Blood Rush turn. Goodbye, Lost in Thought. It's nice knowing you. Oh, okay. I don't mind this. So I can either take 3 damage to just return the Dread into Slithering, or I can pop it just to do Dread. Yeah, I'll take the 3 damage here. That's fine. Because we're getting a new Arsenal anyway with Ponder. That means 2 Blood Rushes end up in the pitch stack, though. Kind of annoying, but I don't think we're under too much threat. So we'll likely get to at least the first one. That will draw us closer to the Art of War. Art of War will draw us closer to the next one. No big deal. Okay. Howl's still sitting pretty. That's alright. Graveyard's healthy. Was the Arsenal always being face down in an intentional change at this point? I think... Yeah, this must have been intentional. For a while, I thought it was a bug because the opponent's Arsenal would also copy yours. At least, like, whatever card sleeve. So it seemed like some kind of bug. But, no, I think now it's it's just part of the plan. They're just keeping it this way. Okay, Tomote. Getting blocked with. Don't mind. Don't mind. We haven't really found a Scab's hand anyway, though, other than, like, turn 1. They can't take Blood Rush, it's only an action. Oh, yeah, good point, good point. Either way, though, like, the Blood Rush turn is gone, effectively, because of the Lost in Thought. I never understand why Dromais take Ghostly into Levia. It is never relevant. Like, pretty much never. Because, generally, like, Ghostly Touch makes sense if you're not under that much threat. You can just develop a Dragon Board, then, like, that Dragon Board gets popped. That will rack up the Ghostly. But against Levia, like, if you're developing the Dragon Board, then your life is going to disappear, right? Oh my god, it's the worst pondered draw. Then your life is going to disappear, and you can't really ever get to the Ghostly point. So it doesn't really make sense. I'm not arsenaling that, unfortunately. Okay, this hand's fine. Have you ever noticed that Levia Redeemed Blasphemfet disappears when you do a quick rematch? Yep, so just don't do quick rematches, is the unfortunate reality. You gotta do a full rematch every time, but it's okay. That does at least reload the Levia. Yeah, I don't know why. I think because when you load into a game, Levia, like the demi-hero doesn't get selected, it's just there, right? And that way, when you quick rematch, it doesn't think it's selected, because it doesn't have like the yellow highlight around it saying that you did select it. And I really would have loved this Arsenal card to be Graveling, you know, 1 card difference off of actually being able to double pop and not hate this turn. It's kind of annoying. Kind of annoying. Kind of annoying. I'll still give up 1 card on the pop here. It's fine. This Dread just clears Maragai. It's the last Maragai. Yep. Okay, so if they swing with Uvia, I might as well pop it. I guess I don't have to be fair. I don't have to. It's not threatening Husk. They have no Ash anyway. Keeping an extra card puts me on Boneyard and Arsenal, which is pretty decent. I do like Boneyard and Arsenal. Yeah, so let's do this just in case of burn them all, like pushing me past Husk next turn. Sure. Turn 10, so we do need to extend the game a little bit still, because I want to find that Blood Rush I pitched on turn 0. If I don't, it's pretty unfortunate. Alright, so this Graveling can either go face or I can just claw the Maragai. I'm pretty sure I'm fine clawing the Maragai over going face. They're at 0 Ash. We'll have a Banisher and Arsenal. Should be fine. If they lead with like a Dust Up, then, you know, easy. That's my Husk use. We did banish the Howl, so this hand actually wants to play 2 cards. So we have 2 poppers, in case it's another Chromai. Alright, I have so much to do today. I might only be able to stream for like 1 more hour. Oh my god, another Lost in Thought. All 3 Lost in Thoughts. That's okay. Our Boneyard and Arsenal protects us from this kind of thing. Just means the play is a 2-card 6, but every Lost in Thought is at least gone. Ideally, I don't need to play out this Boneyard. It's going to waste the Ponder, which is such an annoying part about how Lost in Thought works in this matchup. There's so many Ponder draws that just suck. So you are basically just giving them a card. That's fine. Knowing that the Blood Rush is coming, I really want the Boneyard and Arsenal, rather. You've got a lot to do as well, and said you're watching the stream. Well, I appreciate that. You don't have to stay for too much longer. We'll do like another game probably, but that's gonna have to be it, I think. Sure. Cool. All right, I get to keep the Boneyard and Arsenal. This is fine. Graveyard getting a little light, but we just need to find a larger hand to keep for the Howl to get replayed there. It's turn 12. We did draw 4 because of Blood Rush and Art of War, plus the Ponders, I guess, however that factors in. So probably on turn 14 will be when we see the Blood Rush hand. So pretty close. We're pretty close. We've got a lot of life. We've got the Karen Husk still. We've got a Popper hand. It's looking fine. It's looking fine. They have no more Miragais that they can drop. Okay, so this is fantastic. We get to 3-card 12. We know that they can't drop a Miragai because they're all dead, so I don't really fear this Kyloria. So I'm just going to do the Endless Maw at face. I mean, it presents lethal after all. Nice, and we hit the Howl again. Pretty good. Pretty good. Okay, takes the full hand. In theory, this is our Blood Rush hand. Come on. In theory. Oh! Oh no, turn 13. Okay, next turn, next turn. Next turn's hand, rather. Next turn's hand. We got it. Yep, okay, this is just Dread into Slithering. Oh, Slithering! God, why'd they name it? Why'd they name it that? Looking pretty decent, though. Alright, next hand Blood Rush. Next hand Blood Rush. We know this. We know this. That's really odd, though. I would have felt like I'm a turn ahead on the Blood Rush draw, because it was a turn 0 pitch, right? I redrew. I've also drawn an extra 4, and then a Ponder as well. Oh, but I didn't Arsenal the Ponder, so actually the Ponder doesn't matter. So I pitch it turn 0, drew an extra 4. I mean, it is a next hand, obviously, because it's full cycle, but that's still just very odd. Very odd. Would you believe it if I said we took 9 blood debt this game? Would you believe it? Flicker trick in this matchup. It is very odd, tell you what. And it was in Arsenal. That's very scary to do. Alright, there's the Blood Rush hand. So this can get dumped into Howl. And then we can just play the hand. This goes here. Nice! We are ready. We're ready, ready, ready. Yes, I will take this damage. Gladly. Alright, so I do think this means their next hand is the Remembrance hand. It's actually pretty good for us because Blood Rush slamming into a Remembrance hand is obviously going to land a lot of damage. So, looking good. Looking good. Oh, this is fantastic. We literally get Claw into Boneyard, Arsenal, Art of War. I mean, we pitched this. Not, like, entirely intentionally, but, like, we did pitch our power cards. And power cards next to blues tends to be really strong. So, we'll call it intentional. It's intentional. Why not? I do know the next Blood Rush hand is... The next Blood Rush hand is not next hand, I don't believe. But I forget what attacks were near it. So need to be a little cognizant of what red attacks are left to put in arsenal. Is it just like one more Boneyard? And that would come after the Blood Rush, because I pitched it. Huh. Oh, no, there's all three. There is all three. I'm actually not sure what attacks are left, funny enough. That's okay, the Art of War can turn even, like the Deadwoods into playable. Or the game's just over. It depends if that's the Remembrance in hand. Is that the Remembrance? Yep. Got him! Got him! I know. Watched the pitch. Oh, come on. You can't say, oh, drew the Remembrance. You pitched the Remembrance there. You pitched it. You pitched it into my Blood Rush. You pitched your Remembrance into my Blood Rush. You don't think I'm going to remember that? That's like a free win. Can't just say, oh, I drew Remembrance. Come on. Come on. We knew it was coming. Okay. Good game. Pretty solid. We took 9 blood debt. I do worry, actually. Yeah, that next hand, because we figure you Arsenal the Art of War, that next hand is really rough. I mean, Doomsday, plus these guys they do turn off blood debt, but that's not a go hand by any means. This hand is really where the Art of War would have done work, because you figure you get the swing big out, can say go again, and then the last Blood Rush was next to a pretty good one. So it's like, this hand is terrible. This hand is playable because the Art of War is an Arsenal, and then here is like where it starts to get really good again. Yeah, we definitely had enough damage left in the deck to win. There were still the Doomsday, there was one more Blood Rush, there were the Dominates off the back of Convulsions, there were 2 Swing Bigs, which can be pretty good late with the Convulsions as well, another 2 Dreads, 2 Graveling. It would have been okay. I mean, obviously it would have felt better if the Deep-Rooted Evil was in, looking at that kind of late game deck, but the reality with Deep-Rooted Evil into Dromai is it's like really hard to get into Graveyard. Because I'm putting in the extra poppers. So then adding in like the Shadow Deep-Rooted like Unworldly package, that fights a lot with the poppers. Maybe it's okay. I've never felt like I needed it into Dromai, honestly. Never really felt like I needed it. Alright, GG's. It's 1-0. Alright, deck is okay. It's winning the games it's supposed to win. Alright, I honestly think we can do like one... What did I say? Nat's testing? Yeah. I think we can do one more. I really have so much to do. And I need to check, is the coffee shop next door closing? Because I need to go get food. Oy. Monaco's coffee. They close at 2 p.m.? Okay, yeah. I need to do one more game. One more game. Oh, this guy's pretty good at Boltyn. This guy's pretty good at Boltyn. Into Boltyn, I feel like I was running Scab's Grasp. I forget in the Boltyn testing, honestly. Yeah, I don't really have a sideboard like prepared for Boltyn per se. I'm pretty sure it looked something like this when I was testing it. Or even this. CNCs are relatively weak. They do have the crown. And most of their cards block 3. Yeah, we can... Nah. Let's try this. 1 splash of the Howl, 2 CNC. Should be fine. It's not combo. We played against this guy before. He doesn't play combo. He's like a defensive Raiden. But CNC going second, pretty dope. Even Reckless Swing going second, because you figure Raiden needs to attack to charge soul, or they just don't. Okay, we don't mind them just not doing it either. All right. I really want to hit scabs here. That'd be kind of gas. Just 3-card 12 it. Arsenal Graveling. Yeah, we're in. Fantastic work last weekend in Atlanta, and huge props to all the hard work that's led up to the production values we're seeing. Thank you, Harrison. Super appreciate. There's only more to come. I've got Canadian Nats coming up, and I really want to make Canadian Nats like the best we've ever seen, because I'm driving, and so I can kind of do more, you figure. Back when last weekend we were flying into Atlanta, I couldn't bring everything because it is a flight at the end of the day, you know? This is pretty decent. But driving up to Atlanta, or driving up to Canada rather, I will have all the bells and whistles I want. Also gonna invest in some upgrades as well for the stream. See what we can do to make it a super memorable Nats experience. I'll be covering Canadian Nats. Yes, I am. I was hired to go cover Canadian Nats. Pretty dope. Shout out to Red Riot Games. Fly Southwest for that free check bag perk. Well, so I got a media pass flying to Atlanta, which was pretty dope because I was able to prove that Savage Feats was like working on contract, you know? This was like a media role. And so I got like a flat $50 check bag thing. So normally if you check a third bag, it goes up to like almost $200. It's like stupid expensive. But with the media pass, you get any oversized bag, any overweight bag, no matter the amount of bags for a $50 cap. So that was pretty decent. Pretty decent. Yikes. All right, deck. You want to draw this hand, eh? You want to draw this hand. At least we knocked him down. That was a pretty good turn. Pretty decent start, actually. That one of Howl coming in clutch. Now, my opponent is smart. He might not attack because it lets me get 3 cards in graveyard. At the same time, though, I can always get to 3 anyway because I have Howl. Just saying. Yep, look at that. Alright, that's not bad. Honestly, this hand was pretty tough if we were trying to trade with it. I really... Well, it's actually always safer to say buff because spending 2 into a claw lets me just Howl instead. So it's 1 more damage to do it this way. If there's even an attack we draw, honestly. So let's just say buff, yeah. Nice! Pretty good. Alright. Better lucky than good. Let's go. Another 3-card 12 out of nowhere. Arsenal Blood Rush, 3-card 12. Pretty decent. Pretty decent, ain't it? Pretty decent. Thing is, though, Boltyn blocks really well. You know, pretty much every card says block 3. So, in theory, if the Boltyn just wants to not play the game, we aren't super equipped to beat full fatigue. Then again, the Boltyn would just lose cards crazy fast out of their deck. So you would figure we start winning that game. And we did hedge the 1 Howl just in case they do play really slow, which is nice. But if they legitimately just, like, block every time they see 12, which some people do. Some people legit, like, they see 12 damage on the board, they're like, oh my god, that's a lot. Block. Alright, Illuminate with Go again. Don't super care. In terms of hit effects that we're saving armor for, it's mainly Lumina. This does let it go to Soul, though. We're looking at a Blood Rush hand that doesn't enable these cards super well, though. Kinda odd. It's only 2 Blood Debt, so I also don't mind. In theory, block CNC, wait for a better Blood Rush hand. That's okay. They did just use Crown as well. Yeah, so I actually don't hate that. I don't hate that. Block, illuminate, launch CNC. Then again, it has go again, so are they even going to try to arsenal with that other card? Is that other card another illuminate? Is it a snatch? We'll let this go. Boltyn with Raiden can't really force fatigue. Yeah, well, it's not ever true fatigue. It's the idea that whenever they see my damage, they just block. And that can put me in a bad graveyard state. If the opponent just, like, does that more often than not, it can be tough. Because I didn't sideboard in to, like, really beat that. We hedged with one Howl, but there's no Deeper to Evil, there's no Unworldly to make it, like, too easy. Oh, this is kind of sad. Well, actually, no, it's not that bad. This can just be Claw, CNC, Arsenal, Art of War, take 2 Blood Debt. That's fine. Yeah, I don't mind that. It chains a bunch of power cards together in the end, right? We're losing 2 damage because the CNC is not a brute attack, but we're gaining the on-hit. Call that relevant. Not punished either by using the Howl last turn instead of saying go again. Because if we had 1 extra resource, like if this was a blue, then we would have wanted to have the Howl instead of the what we used last turn. I could have used Art of War to cheese the Arsenal. I don't think that's super worth it. I'd rather have a stronger turn next. Sure. Be the Vanguard turn. Okay, pretty glad that we did interrupt that, considering there was a Bolting Blade at the ready. Pretty good, pretty good. Sure. No hit effect on the V. We're likely blocking down with a card, though. We'll just see where it comes. Five on the Raiden. Still no real hit effect. The problem with the Art of War here is likely to waste resources if we're just going for the Graveling, so I really do want to block down with... I guess I can block down with the Convulsions. It does put a 4th miss in the graveyard, which is bad, but it doesn't give the +1. So it effectively blocks 3 over blocking 2 like these guys. Because my Art of War turn is pitch here, banish, say go again. I think I'm okay with that. I'll save 1 more life. Make the graveyard a little worse. There's no hit effect still. Okay. Oh, nice. We basically did the slithering play, except off 3 cards instead of 2. Yep, so we definitely do want to slam the Boneyard. It doesn't matter how we do it. I guess we'll show less damage first. Not a great banish. We still have 4 misses. Left the Howl. That's okay. Pretty low blood debt game, which is interesting, because we've had a pretty strong start. Alright, see, this is what I meant. The Boltyn player is blocking a lot. It's not, like, really fatigue, but they will happily block down if... Like, they would rather protect their own life than trade subpar damage, because Levi's damage is very good, right? It is very good. So that's basically what we're seeing here. I would love for this Dread Screamer not to miss. That would be pretty hype. Okay, it didn't miss. We like this. I'm just going to go for a graveyard clear type of play. We're going to close the chain, try to get a bunch of misses out. And just do that. Overpitch... Well, not overpitch, but pitch the other Writhing into this Writhing. Arsenal the Boneyard Marauder for a Blood Rush draw would be pretty ideal. Okay, so now the graveyard is only 2 misses. Howl got reset. Looking pretty good. We like where it's at now. Opponent is not on a Tunic turn. So... can't be too crazy. Okay, kind of interesting. We've definitely got Art of War Doomsday type of turn coming. So we can block with 1 card to really make that happen. Gonna be some wasted value, though. That was it. All they did was express lightning? Interesting. They have to be using beacon on this or something, right? Yeah, so we'll just expect beacon into Lumina. Yep. And then block the Luminas with Unworldly and armor. Cool. Double Lumina turn. Okay, so we're going to husk one. We're going to block this one. And then husk the other one, basically. Actually, I mean, yeah, I care. It's enough of a swing. It's enough of a swing. It's heal 2 when they're behind like this. It's 2 Luminas gone. They're only going to have 1 Lumina left. So we can hope to just push them out of even really getting use out of that 3rd Lumina. Should be pretty safe. They get 1 more attack, though, don't they? Yeah, they get 1 more attack, right? Because they play double Lumina. Damn, wish this hand blocked a little better. I'd love to give up 1 more card and 1 more equipment. Be kind of hype. But we can't do it. So we give them 1 hit. Alright, honestly kind of scary here, because we're about to put 4 misses in the graveyard to say the Art of War play. Buff, go again. Alright, don't let me down, Boneyard. Come on. Nice. Good job, Boneyard. 3 misses in the yard, though. About to be 4, because of Doomsday itself. Could have used Fleshbag to brick him. I mean, that assumes a lot about what their turn is. Because, like, using the Fleshbag on the Express Lightning, if their turn wasn't, like, double Lumina, right? If, like, their turn is just, okay, singular Lumina, Arsenal the other card. It's not necessarily Beacon in hand, though, right? They also had an Arsenal. It was Express Lightning with Arsenal and card in hand. I'd rather it be more clear that there's value on this Fleshbag. Alright, let's see. Can you kill Blasmfet with the 2 cards you kept? After blocking with a Bolt and a Sink. Let's see it. Blasmo with his Banish ability is pretty good into Boltyn as well, because Boltyn obviously needs his soul. You start sucking it dry with Blasmo, it's pretty good. Pretty good. We have 1 more naturally drawn Blood Rush in the deck right now. We have 1 in the pitch, which I doubt we'll even see that one. I don't think the game will go that long. But more than anything, we need to fix the graveyard. Graveyard is really bad, so playing out the Unworldly Bellows, or playing like an Art of War turn with double Banishers is pretty strong. Although, never mind, all the Art of Wars are gone. So, I hate to be in positions like this where it's like, get lucky, or the graveyard screws you. So, that was actually an argument to keep the Unworldly then, because we did have the 1 floating. So even though it's just 2 damage, it was a graveyard fix, in theory. Yep, so they kill Blasmfet here. Pretty good. Pretty good. We're just hoping and praying that the Boneyard doesn't miss. There are 2 hits in there. 10 damage is way too much of a swing in this matchup. You just can't take 10. So I think that was wrong then. I should have kept the Unworldly. Because we had the 1 resource floating anyway for the way that that hand played out. And Unworldly, it would have meant I take 3 more, they gain 2 more. But if that's the difference between taking 10 damage, right? That's where there's more value in that card. But who knows? We could also just get lucky. Get lucky is a strategy. Let's go. That was actually the wrong pitch. I meant to click Slithering, but we didn't get lucky anyway. I don't think we can win with Consumed in this matchup. Not sure we can, but we'll try. The Banishes aren't that strong for Consumed. It's just the one Dread Screamer. The Writhing, actually the Writhing's okay. That might push it. That might push it. So that was the wrong pitch. I just misclicked. It was supposed to be Slithering. So that might actually throw the entire game. Like, putting the Dread Screamer in Arsenal was obviously the intent. I'm not going to click undo. Whatever. Whatever. But that might lose the game in and of itself. A misclick. But we'll see. This is going to be the Consume turn. We still have the 2 Blood Rushes to draw. I really feel like the first one's probably gone, though, in this Banish. Aren't there 2 Dreads in Banish? Yeah, one's a blue, though. That's okay. So now if we're trying to play for Blood Rush wins the game, funny enough, the Slithering is better in Arsenal than the Endless Maw, because that lets you more easily pull off the Claw, pull Dread from Blasmo into Slithering turn. This is probably a Gambler's matchup, though. Or even Graspin' Hooves. Could be better, honestly. Although, launching the... Oh my god, they took the damage. Into the Consume flip? Okay, now there's a chance. You're telling me there's a chance. I like this. The graveyard is now fixed because of the whiff on the last turn. Sure. We can buy ourselves some tempo here with the Scowling play right now. Basically just do this, and the turn gets stymied. The intent with this hand would be to basically go Dread into Endless. So we'd be pulling a Dread. So I don't need this Dread, basically. So I can block with the Beast Within. Or I can keep it all, so I can pay into Howl. That's pretty good, actually. Yeah, let's do that. I'm into that. I'm paying into Howl, baby. Sure, I'll take this. Alright, so... I don't know if they fixed the coding on this, but it used to be where Howl would not work. Or rather, it would take away Blasphemfet if you howled first. I don't know if that's true anymore, but regardless, we're not going to do it first anyway. Because there were misses. Yep. So we do it this way, and then we can howl into Endless Maw. Boom. It doesn't matter the order. Well, first of all, yes, it did. It did matter the order, because there were 2 misses, so we don't want to howl first. But second of all, it was bugged for a long time. I did message Nate about fixing it, though, and he said he fixed it. I just haven't tried it since he said he fixed it. Alright, hitting the Howl's pretty good. If the Howl was the last card left, then actually problematic, because we wouldn't be able to fill the graveyard to 3 necessarily next turn. So we have Writhings, but we've only seen 1 Soul Shield, so that doesn't necessarily win the game. Plus they have Radiant Flow. We do need another push turn, but I'm sure we'll get there. We'll get there. 1 more push turn, it'll be fine. So we can... Oh, shoot, wait, the Howl gets banished face down, actually. Oh, true. The Howl gets banished face down. Oh, so we can't loop the Howl. Forgot about that. They're still at 1 here. Well, hitting Scabs would be pretty fantastic, wouldn't it? I'm in. Okay, nope. This still takes 2 cards. We found a Reckless, but Radiant Flow should prevent that, actually. Funny enough. Funny enough. I don't think targeting any of their stuff matters, but we'll banish a Lumino, why not? What's up, Tyler? Yeah, Radiant does protect them from the Reckless. Maybe we could do double Reckless to win. I'm just pretty sure they disappear in the banish here. I wish you could track everything that was banished, because it's actually known information to yourself. It's not known to your opponent. Your opponent sees it initially as it flips, but then after that, after like the initial reveal, they don't get to look at it. You can, though, as the owner of the cards. You can. Alright. Alright, the world could be, though, I Reckless Swing, force them to use the Radiant Flow, right? Then I can just win with Writhing. Maybe that's the other line. Let's see. It is double Writhing as well. So I can put them on needing to have 2 Soul Shields back to back, basically, to win. It's not bad. Writhing, or Reckless has to also not discard the Writhing, though, for there to be 2 Writhings playable. It is turn 11, so getting to the point where they've seen their whole deck. Still only have seen the 1 Soul Shield. If they charge a Soul Shield, then, you know, there we go. That's go time. That is go time. Probably just dead, though, honestly. I'm most likely just dead. I really did not want to flip into consumed. Okay, they charged these guys. So basically I have to hope that they just don't have Soul Shield next turn. No Soul Shield next turn wins the game. But then we're out of deck. Yes, you can Oasis Reckless Swing. Yes, indeed. Well, still need to force out the Radiant Flow now. Still have to do that. Although, in theory, I would want to do it on the... Oh no, Raiden doesn't have the Iron Song paid into it. Yeah, so it can be right now. It's fine. They're going to Radiant Flow. Yep. Makes sense, obviously. There comes the Raiden. In theory, we're not dead, because even if it is a beacon, I can grasp it. So it should be fine to just say no blocks. Alright, one more attack. It is an Engulfing Light. Okay. We block with the Grasp. Alright, that's all I got, is the one more Writhing then. The last Writhing. It either wins or it doesn't. I'm pretty high on it doesn't win, but we'll see. Pretty high on it does not win. But let's give it a go. Show me the Soul Shield. We've only seen the one. So they should pretty likely have it here. Yep. Pretty likely have it there. And that is that. Oh, the whiff on the banish. But that was a misplay because of the Unworldly. Should have just played out the Unworldly. Every time. Death. And actually my card back disappeared. When I ran out of deck, it doesn't know what its own card back looks like anymore. Oh, GG's. Huge misplay on that Unworldly, though. Huge misplay on that Unworldly. Oh well. Good game. Yeah, just really didn't want to flip until seeing the last Blood Rush. So we needed to buy an extra turn with the blue Unworldly actually clearing out the graveyard instead of blocking. Pretty big punish because of that. The graveyard management is so important in Levia that trading the life there was not worth what we were forced into because of the blood debt tick into consumed. Yeah, so realistically it would have been I take an extra 3, they heal an extra like 1 or 2, and then I fix the graveyard so I can actually come in for 9 into Blasmafet. So I get a 15 damage turn off. I don't have to worry about missing blood debt on the next turn either. And then I have room to draw into the last Blood Rush. Because the one that I pitched away, I'm never seeing with Consumed, really. Not at that point. Like, I'm banishing... At that point, I was banishing, like, 11 cards. Good luck at Nats. Not going myself because you couldn't crack a top 4. Oh, man. That's rough. So many mistakes. Yeah, I made so many mistakes. It's true. The Unworldly turn was so bad. Blocking with Unworldly, overplaying it. So bad from me. I mean, that literally threw the game. There's no reason for me to go to Consumed that late in the turn cycles. I don't want to go to Consumed, right? So the Unworldly play was the safety net to control the graveyard and make it so I can actually naturally see my third Blood Rush before flipping Consumed. Oh well. On your part, dude, you won. You did everything right. You stalled me out after flipping. You had Radiant Flow for Reckless. You drew Soul Shield on my last win con. You did everything right. Like, come on. Don't lie to you. I mean, you didn't attack into one turn that, like, was probably wrong because I had the Howl anyway. So there was, like, one turn you probably missed, like, 3 damage. But I'm the one who threw that game. It wasn't anything you did. But GG's. GG's. Alright, I gotta go, because I gotta get food and finish the rest of the stuff I need to do before Nats. Can I play one more? No, because the coffee shop closes at 2. It's 1:10 right now. I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can stay. But there you go. That was the deep dive on the grindy season I've had prepping for freaking Nationals just to give up on this deck entirely. Looking forward to seeing you in Vegas. Would you be willing to sign a Levia Redeemed? Oh my god, don't make me do that, Jacob. Not a Levia Redeemed. That card is worth too much. Although someone had me sign their Cold Foil's Carrion Husk, and I still don't understand why. I mean, I did it. I did do it. But to sign a Cold Foil Carrion Husk is a lot of freaking money, and a Levia Redeemed is like, I mean, it's like half of that. If it's not the Marvel, maybe you can sweet talk me into it. But if it's the Marvel, I'm not touching that. I'm sorry. You reserve that for the artists themselves, you know, at that point. Which I do want to get mine signed. I would love to get Steve Argyle and Wisnu to sign the Marvel. Be sick. Thanks for the stream. Have a good rest of your day and have a safe flight. Absolutely. You too, Emery. I'll see you tomorrow. All right. With that, everyone, thank you. Thank you. Decent stream. Unfortunately, like I said, this week is crazy. Last week was crazy. But I'll be there at Nats and hopefully winning some games on stream. Maybe. Hopefully. At some point. And yeah, we'll see what happens. Pretty stoked for draft. I would like to draft Levia. All 6 rounds. I would like to. Is it going to happen? Don't know. Kind of depends on the people around me. But regardless, it'll be a fun time. I'd love to play Levia for, you know, all, what is it, like 14 rounds or whatever it is. Oh, that'd be sick. So with that, I'll see you then. Shout out to TT Plays, one of the sponsors of the stream. And yeah, if you have any orders for merch, I'll be bringing those to Nats as well. Last chance as well, if you want to save on shipping, to go ahead and order a shirt or something. I will bring those all to Nats. Peace. Woo! Step, arms, spin. What? Woo! live and tango. 1, 2, 1, 2. Slap.